what he was saying to you was, where were you raised and who raised you? And what was said about people who are different? What he was saying to you, what schools did you go to? Who did you hang out with? Who are your friends? And what was said about people who are different? He was asking you, what university did you go to? What clubs did you belong to? Fraternities, sororities. And what was said about people who are different? He's asking you, who did you marry? Who are your in-laws? Where have you traveled? What TV do you watch? What radio do you listen to? What books do you read? And what is said about people who are different? That's what he was saying to you. And you will have to answer all those questions to understand your blind spots. Because once you understand what your filter is, then it will force you to question your BS. It will force you to question your BS. Come on, Halifax. We're all adults. Shout it out nice and loud. What is BS? Belief system. I thought they would have forewarned y'all yesterday. I thought they would have told you yesterday. Don't fall for the BS. So now I got to question everything I believe about whites because I've gotten bad information. I got to question everything I believe about whites. I've gotten bad. And then now that forces me to listen to my deficit monitor. And guess what? You all have the deficit monitor. It's a voice, it's a sound, it's a feeling that comes over you that says you're thinking with prejudice. Stop. You're thinking with ignorance. Stop. You're thinking with bias. Stop. And because you are a good person, you stop. And that's what separates you from the racist. Because with the racists, they don't stop. It is their first, second, third, fourth, fifth thought. You and me, it's only the first thought. That's how this works. See, if you're gonna do this work, you have to be attuned to your top 10 biases. Just think about it right now. What are your top 10 biases? Go from 10 to 1. Triggers, prejudices. You walk down the street, you look at somebody, you have a negative first thought. You have to be willing to admit this to do this work. We've been trained not to admit this because then we're going to be a racist. That's wrong. You're human. See, the racist is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth thought. You and me is just the first thought. See, the human resources, you had to sit down at a job interview and you had to lie. You remember at your interview? This is what you said in your interview. I love all people. I treat everybody the same. You remember you had to lie to get the job? If I were interviewing you, I would want the truth. See, I would say, I need to know what your biases are. You'd have to say, I'm afraid of African Nova Scotian men. Hired. The whole indigenous people thing, that annoys me. You get the job. Right? I hope you don't have any poor students here. You're in the right place. Because I want somebody who's honest, because then I can work with you. But if you sit down, there we go. All right, I got a single hand clap there. Right there, right there. That's what I'm talking about. But if you sit down and tell me you love everybody, and you treat all people the same, and you did missionary work in Uganda and all this kind of stuff, you scare me. So just pretend that we were passing out $100 bills if you would give us your top 10. Would you? Could you? Right? You need to in order to do this work. I'm talking about everyday bias, folks. Everyday bias that happens. Let's just go to your everyday walks of life. And let's see if you can pay attention to your first thoughts. Go to the gas station with me. Look who's pumping gas with you. Look who's coming out the mark there. Those are your first thoughts. Go to the grocery store with me. Look who's shopping with you. Look who's in the cart, over here, over there. Those are your first thoughts. Go to the front of the store when you get ready to check out. Look at all the cashiers. Ooh, she looked really slow. Let me go over here. Those are your first thoughts. Go to your family function, the big family function. Look who he came with this time. Those are your first thoughts. Look at the parents dropping off the kids at your schools, getting off the buses. Those are your first thoughts. Now I want you to look at those youngsters in front of you. Those are your first thoughts. And in order to do this work, you're going to have to be willing to admit your first thoughts, right? Because you have to guarantee that it may be your first thought, but it will not be your last thought. And see, that's what separates you from everyone else. And you have to trust that, right? We all do it. I just need you to admit it